This is Palantir Foundry. It's a data and operations platform. By platform, I mean it's not one piece of software, but an ecosystem of more than 50 bits of software, all designed to enable you to ingest, transform, enrich and consume your data. The platform is this interface you see now, which is hosting and running all the other applications. Foundry is designed to be insular. So you can make apps with it and publish them to the web, but by default that would be your intranet and not public-facing. Your users would be colleagues, not consumers, and they would need Foundry identities and permissions to see the data or the apps within it. A quick word about me. I've worked with Foundry, but I'm not employed by or affiliated to Palantir, and all my courses on Foundry are my own opinions and experience, and not official. So, Foundry is an end-to-end system. By end-to-end, I mean from ingestion to consumption. Or, to put it another way, from raw data to actions and decisions. So, what is it not? It's not a data lake or data warehouse. It can hold all that data, but it's bigger than that. It's also smarter. You don't have to replace your databases or warehouses if you're using Foundry. They can run alongside each other just fine. Foundry isn't just a data store. It holds a huge amount of logic and processing too. It contains all the security and permissions for the whole ecosystem, so it's an identity and access management system as well. It supports reports and dashboards a bit like Power BI, but using Workshop you can also build proper applications which run processes, parse media, use AI to summarise documents and write back to the database. To think of Foundry's outputs as just reports is like thinking Netflix only mails out DVDs. Those days are gone. The sky's the limit. Foundry really can be used as a one-stop shop for internal data and processes if you migrate enough existing systems into it. I've worked with people who are very suspicious of this aspect of Foundry. The more you lean in, the greater decommissioning of other systems, the greater reduction in cost, and more importantly, the greater leveraging and organising of your internal data. But the more you lean in, the greater work you would have re-platforming later if you ever wanted to walk away from Palantir. And there aren't many other solo offerings in this space. This question of leaving Palantir and leaving Foundry is an interesting lens with which to understand its broad offering. Palantir has apparently made it clear that they support end-of-contract extraction. But let's think a little about what that means. Getting the data out is relatively easy. Extracting the functions and the code should also be quite easy. But the manually built transformations and logic, the meaning enrichment in the ontology, and all the apps you build in Workshop, those things could be a real headache to replace. And I think that gives you a sense of the scale of the offering. This is just personal opinion, but I think Foundry is best suited to large organisations with complex data and processes. I also think an organisation with disparate data, with overlaps and underlaps, stands to gain the most from the investment of time and money and the risk of replatforming. So, back to what it is and what it does. Foundry offers multi-role collaboration. It's one system that data engineers, product owners, app designers and end users all log into. I don't think I've come across another system like that. Foundry is also ontology-centric, and I think this is where it offers the most benefit. You can't avoid the ontology if you're using Foundry. It separates the processing of the data from the consumption. It's a deliberate bottleneck. The ontology models real-world objects and relationships, and the data processing should be designed with the ontology in mind. Only the very best and most relevant data sets get promoted into the ontology, and only the ontology data can be accessed by all the applications. This deliberate bottleneck is your chance to centralise, link and add meaning to your data, which then all flows downstream. Your apps can't just plug into a dataset directly. This feels restrictive at first, but it's a bit like building a house using an architect instead of going solo. Annoying, but you end up with a house that doesn't fall down, and it also makes the most of the natural light and resources in a way you simply couldn't have done yourself. Hopefully you have a decent sense now of what Palantir Foundry is and broadly what it does. The rest of this course is designed to give you a mental model of making sense of Foundry's 50+ applications, and then a deeper dive into the 3 most important apps. We end with a summary and sensible next steps in your learning journey of this large offering.